Greetings, folks. This is DC Investing. I've reached financial independence, and I talk about topics that can help others on their pathway to financial independence. And today I wanted to talk about what some people call the super fund, which is just having a normal brokerage account for your financial independence, retire early, called FIRE. I am a big advocate for retirement accounts if you use them properly, but I can't I want to re-stress that the idea of just having funds in your normal brokerage account is also something to carefully weigh in terms of whether or not you want to put funds into, say, a 401k or an IRA, or just keep them in a brokerage account for your long-term investing needs. And the reason to really take a look at the different accounts you put money in is the overall taxation that comes for both retirement accounts, the traditional retirement accounts, but also just using your brokerage account. And so something that's important to know is if the tax rate is the same and you invest in the same stock or investment, whether or not you have money in a retirement account or out of a retirement account, the taxation works out to kind of be the same if the tax rates are the same and the investment gains are the same. But in a moment, I'm going to explain that that's not always the case. And so, like, if let's say you have $100,000 and you put that I know it's a big number, but if you put that $100,000 into an IRA or a 401k, you don't pay tax on the year that you put money into that retirement account. So let's say, you're in the 12% tax bracket, which doesn't really work out, I know, but let's say it's 12%. If you kept that money out of the retirement account, let's say both of them grow for 20 years and the growth rate is 10%. I don't know what that ends up to be. Maybe it grows to $200,000. When you pay your taxes on both of those, like if you pulled money out of the retirement account, if you're paying 12% tax on a $200,000 $200,000 investment, whether you pull it out of your 401k or IRA or left in your brokerage account, the taxation is exactly the same. You still pay the same amount. Whether you pay the tax at the beginning or the end, it becomes the same number. But the difference is if you're not taxed the same. And so that's the game that you can play. And I encourage you to kind of really look at the taxation rates behind our tax bracket system and figure out what your level of taxation is right now. And my rule of thumb is, and I only learned this later in my career. I think earlier in my working career, I had just saved to the 401k. I always did enough to earn the company match, but there's some years that I put in 10% or 15%. I just thought it was a great idea to save a little bit more and not be taxed that year. But as I got older, I realized that you're going to get taxed anytime, anyhow. So just be careful about your bracketing. And so my kind of rule was, as soon as I jumped into the 22% bracket, I wanted to push money into the pre-tax 401k or IRAs. And if I was below that, I would just put the money into a Roth account or keep it in the brokerage account. And so the thing that affects this long-term taxation is that not all investments are taxed the same. And so let's say you put in your $100,000 into your retirement account. When you pull that money out, you're fully taxed on all of that, on the 200, it gained 100,000, so you have 200,000 you're pulling out. You have to pay taxes as you pull that money out at your ordinary income rate. And so, you pay 0% on the first 32,000, then you pay 10% on the next amount, and you pay 12% on the next amount, and then you pay 22% on the amount after that. So if you just pull out $200,000 at a single time, you're in that upper rate of 22%. And over all of it, what is your rate? Is it 18%? Is it 20%? Is it, you have to kind of figure out what exactly that tax rate is. But what's interesting is if you had your $100,000 in just a brokerage account, you're in the same investment. Let's say you invested in BOO, which is the S&P 500, and over the time it grew by 100%. So you end up with that $200,000. You originally were taxed on your $100,000 that you put into your investment, but the gain turns into a long-term capital gain, and you can actually sell that stock with that gain and pay 0% tax out of your brokerage account. And the reason why is because there's favorable tax treatment for long-term capital gains and also qualified dividends. And so you really kind of have to think about the taxation piece. Is it better to save a little bit of tax on the way in, but then all of your gains are going to be taxed when they come out? Or is it better to pay your tax in the beginning and then not get taxed on your growth? And so the tax brackets to look up, if you don't know, look up the capital gains rate for tax brackets. And for a married couple, I looked them up, and basically on any long-term capital gains for income under $98,900, you pay a 0% tax rate on. So that's kind of a big difference between if you had put that money in a retirement account. When you pulled it out, you'd have to pay tax on everything that comes out. Whereas if you had put it in a brokerage account, basically your first $100,000 for long-term capital gains, you get taxed at a 0% tax rate. And that's a significant difference. Now you also add to that the standard deduction, which you would get the standard deduction for your 401k distribution as well. But the standard deduction for a couple is $32,200. So if you add both of those together, that turns into $131,100. And so basically your first $131,000 of investment, long-term gains out of your investment account, you get taxed at a 0% rate. Whereas if you pulled money out of your 401k, that first $32,000 you pay 0%, but then you're going to pay 10% on the next amount, and 12% on the next amount, and 22% on the next amount, and so on and so forth. And so you can be really strategic about how much you pull money from your 401k. So like, let's say you put $1 million in there, and just every year you pulled out $32,000. You would have saved the tax going into that retirement account, pull it out at 0%. So you definitely got a gain that way. But a lot of people need more than that to live on, and so they end up getting into higher tax brackets, and that can kind of hit them over what would have happened if they just left more money in their brokerage account. And so a lot of the financial guys, this isn't financial advice or anything, but they will talk about having different sources, different accounts that they stuff funds in for different purposes. And so I kind of later in my investing career did more of that, where I had some pre-retirement funds, pre-tax funds, and I would use that to shelter some of the taxes. Like if I got into that 22% tax bracket, I would push funds into either the 401k or an IRA. And then for anything that I was paying 12% on, I would do Roth contributions for that, because when you pull money out of a Roth, it just doesn't affect your taxation at all. So that's kind of a super fund as well. But then I also really used my brokerage account and tried to bulk that up quite a bit. And so I am retired right now, and predominantly I'm just living out of my brokerage account, and primarily just on dividends that I get in that account. I own a bunch of pipelines, and I get return on capital from those pipelines. I like that because that doesn't count towards Magi for your ACA account, or ACA healthcare. So it's kind of like the best of both worlds for right now. So my plan right now is to live out of the brokerage account for the next decade till I reach the time where I'm Medicaid available. But anyhow, it's really something to kind of know and understand. If you leave money in your brokerage account, you might have 20 years until you retire. But if you just put it into an ETF that's just going to continuously grow and not get you taxed year after year, eventually you might have $1 million in that account, And then you can choose how you pull that money out. And if you pull the equivalent right now of $131,000, selling VOO, and it's not like the principal was already taxed. So, in that example I used where you started with 100,000 and it grew to $200,000, it's only the gains that are taxed. So you have $100,000 gain, but you actually got $200,000 as you sold shares to live on. So, like, let's say you put $1 million in over the course of your career, it grew to $2 million, and every year you're going to sell off a $200,000 chunk. Well, out of that $200,000 chunk, 100,000 of it was principal, and $100,000 of it is gain. And so you basically get taxed at 0 rate for all of those sales. Whereas if you put your money into an IRA, you didn't get taxed when you put it in. So you ended up, saving that initial 100 or 1 million was easier. But then as you sell it off every year, pulling $200,000 out will put you in a high tax bracket. I think you're you're definitely in the 22% bracket and maybe even higher. So basically the government gets more of your funding. So overall, these are strategic things to know about. And the tax brackets for long-term capital gains, if you go over that $98,000 mark, that really turns into that $131,000 where you pay 0 tax. The next bracket is you pay 15% of your gains up to $613,000. If you add your standard deduction onto it, it turns into $645,900. So basically, you could sell, $650,000 of a stock, and you only pay 15% on the piece between $98,000 and that $615,000. So that's a big chunk. And like, let's say you're strategically gaming the ACA system, you could just sell a big chunk of your long-term appreciated stock in 1 year. You pay 15% of a tax on that funding. You've gotten $600,000 out of that, and let's say that's enough for you to live for say 7 or 8 years, depending on how much money you need. So 1 year you pay your healthcare costs, and then the next 7 years you just already have just cash in your account. So you look really poor on paper. You get really good subsidies on your healthcare, low premiums, or even free insurance if you play it right. That's kind of a strategic way to use your system in order to get to be able to retire someday, just living out of your brokerage account. And then above that, you pay 20% on anything over that $613,000. So, let's say you had $10 million in an investment account and you just wanted to sell it all in a year. Um, you know, you'd pay 0% for the first 100,000, 15% up to the next 600,000, anything over that you pay 20% on. But that's your limit. Once you've paid the tax, you're done. So you could sell all $10 million in 1 year. You basically have a $200,000 tax bill, and then you're free and clear for the next several years. So you'd get, free or low cost health insurance for the subsidies, but you'd have that $10 million. So that's kind of why Warren Buffett says he has a lower tax rate than, say, a secretary or something, because all of his stuff is long-term capital gains. And so it's really helpful to learn these tax systems in order to like strategize. Like, is it better to put your funding in a retirement account in a year, or is it better to put it in a brokerage account? Is it better to, which source do you take your money out? Is it better to take it out of a retirement account or out of a Roth account or out of your brokerage account? And you can really be strategic if over the years you've saved into all these different forms. And so it's kind of like the topic today. It really helps to kind of learn how different investments are taxed. And in pre-retirement, you need healthcare coverage. And so that $20,000 worth of subsidies per year is something that you can also really think about in terms of, being strategic on how you pull money out of various retirement accounts or brokerage accounts or You know, what counts as magi income, what doesn't. So all those things are super important. Um, but these are just some things that I've been talking about or thinking about today. Hopefully any of that is helpful to you. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you. Bye.